Hi guys, I'm McGann, and welcome to another episode of There I Read It, where I'm going over the Harry Potter books chapter by chapter for the first time ever in my life, and today we are on chapter 6, entitled The Portkey in Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. Now this was a really short chapter too, but there's a lot of interesting new information, so let me hop into my notey notes. So Molly is going around getting all the kids up at the butt crack of dawn, and Arthur was told that he has to travel incognito as a muggle to get to the World Cup. So he's in a golf shirt with old jeans and a leather belt, like, oh, do I pass? Am I a muggle? Which, if he had these clothes, why didn't he wear those to pick up Harry at the Dursleys? I guess if they didn't have a conversation about that beforehand, maybe Arthur just didn't think about it. But it is really peculiar to go, hey, here's a muggle neighborhood with a muggle family that has a magical kid living in it, so let's just do all magic stuff. Obviously, the family's going to be down with it and know it all and not be completely horrified. However, Bill, Charlie, and Percy are not up at the butt crack of dawn, and they're actually going to wake up and get to the site midday because they're allowed to apparate. And apparating is apparently something you have to be an adult to do, and you have to pass a test to get a license. So it's kind of like the Wizarding World's equivalent of a driver's license. And apparently they license and test people because if you don't apparate properly, you can splinch yourself. And splinching is where half of you apparates to one place and the other half of you stays put. And just imagine the kind of horror stories that would result from that. I guess there's a reason one of the books is not entitled Harry Potter and the Splinching Splinter, because that would just be nightmare fuel. And right before they leave, Molly finds out that Fred and George have tons of that Tongue toffee smuggled in their pockets, like rolled up in their jeans and the lining of their jackets. They've had just tons of it everywhere. And Molly's throwing it all in the garbage. So Fred and George are furious and they stomp off. And apparently, because there are 100,000 wizards that are coming to the World Cup from all over the world, they do not have any wizard-safe venues that are big enough to house that many people. So instead, the Ministry found this nice deserted moor that they're going to have the World Cup at, but they have to stagger entry because it's still in a muggle-findable place, and too many people wandering in at once would attract too much suspicion that they don't want to have to deal with that. So people who have the cheap seats for this match had to come 2 weeks early to this site and just, I guess, camp out and wait. And a lot of the wizards are using what are called portkeys to get to the World Cup more discreetly. And a portkey can be absolutely anything, but it should be kind of inconspicuous and out of the way so that muggles don't bother it. Arthur says sometimes a portkey just looks like litter that nobody would want to pick up. Oh yeah, and a portkey is an object that will transport a wizard, or really probably anybody if they're afraid muggles will get it, to a predetermined place and time. And there have been 200 portkeys placed all over Britain. The one the Weasleys and Harry are going to is at Stoat's Head Hill, and once they get up this great hill and they're all dying and out of breath, they have 10 minutes left to find the portkey, which for some reason they have no idea what it's going to look like. And then they hear somebody say, oh, I found it, it's over here. And that person is Amos Diggory. And he's up at the top of the hill with this moldy boot that is the portkey. And he also works for the Ministry in the Department of Regulation and Control of Magical Creatures. So I wonder if he was one of the ones that sentenced Buckbeak to die. But Amos is actually Cedric Diggory's dad, the Hufflepuff, what is the word? Seeker? Is that right? The thing that Harry is, I think that's Seeker. Which, again, hopefully it's not a surprise to anybody, but I'm not a big fan of the Quidditch chapters. I think that kind of action, all that sportiness, is pretty boring to read about. It's something you really need to visually see. So my brain just sort of glazes over when the Quidditch chapters come up. And Amos is kind of mocking Harry for falling off his broom and telling his son, oh, that's going to be a story for your grandchildren to tell them that you beat Harry Potter. And he's not really being mean about it, but he is kind of being superior about it. And Cedric is so embarrassed. He hates that his dad's doing this, but you know, what can you do? Sometimes people are like that, and it's better to just ignore them and move on than to be confrontational with them. Arthur's like, are we waiting for any other families to get here? And Amos mentions that the Lovegoods and the Fawcett's live nearby, but the Lovegoods have been there for a week at the Quidditch World Cup site, and the Fawcett's couldn't get tickets, so they don't think that there's anybody else who is going to show up at the last minute to use the Portkey with them. And then, you know, the clock strikes midnight or whatever time it is, and they all transport over there, and the 2 adults are left standing, and all the kids are knocked flat on their butts, basically. But it was weird. At one point, Amos was like, oh, are all these kids yours? And Arthur's like, oh, no, only the red-haired ones. Hermione and Harry are Ron's friends. And that did kind of click a little switch in my head, because do Fred and George and Ginny not have any friends? I get you can only get a limited amount of tickets, but we just have this big revolving vortex that Harry is the only important thing in the universe. And that's kind of why I think Amos mocks him, to kind of knock Harry down a peg, because so many people build Harry up and say he's the greatest thing in the universe, the best thing since sliced bread, or sliced, what do wizards eat? Toffees? I don't know. Best thing since Hagrid's fruitcakes. But it's like everybody in the books get so overly fixated on kissing Harry's rear that it's like nobody else exists or have their own friends or have their own stories or universes. And granted, I know this book is called Harry Potter, so of course he is going to be the center of the bulk of everything. I get that. I would have just liked to hear a line or two about how, you know, oh, well, I would have liked to have brought so-and-so, but as far as we know, Fred and George and Ginny don't seem to have any friends of their own. So why are these characters that are recurring important characters so flat and not three-dimensional, really? I mean, they have their personality archetypes where Ginny is sort of shy and girly and cutesy, and then Fred and George are all like, ha ha ha, we're the bratty, punky trickster kids. What is the term for that? Not quite bullies, but like the bully of the teacher. There's got to be a word for that I'm forgetting. But yeah, it's just odd that they never really mention, oh, Fred's with his best friend, you know, Pepper or something, or there goes Ginny and her BFF Stephanie. Like, these people don't have any lives going on. Why not? Maybe this book will change that, though. It's hard to say, we're still so early in, but the next chapter looks like it's a good bit thicker, so hopefully we're gonna have more information and more plot pouring in, and there'll be more to dissect and find interesting. And I really haven't decided as of filming this, but you guys probably know by the time this is airing, I'm thinking when I get really short chapters that I might release 2 videos a week for that week, just for the sake of, you know, not spending a whole week waiting for a video that's 5 minutes long because the chapter's so short. But that's still something I'm thinking about, because I try to add in conversations and thoughts and ideas along the way to hopefully bulk up these videos and make them proper discussion pieces. So who knows what I'm gonna do? You guys do, because you're living it. I don't yet, because we're not in the same timeline right now. But thank you for watching. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and comment. I always love the comments for these videos when they're positive. Again, millennials and Gen Z people and all the people who are social justice warrioring. You know, I respect how you feel, I respect your point of view, but it's, you know, not where everybody on the planet is. And how I feel, and what I've stated over and over again, is that, one, as a millennial myself, I don't think that any amount of me talking about Harry Potter is making the author any richer. It's not like she's personally listening to what I have to say. Maybe if I were doing this 20 years ago and this was a relatively new and unexplored series, it would be different. But yeah, Rowling doesn't know or condone what I'm saying. She's not making money off what I'm saying, because these books are everywhere. You can get them for free in any library. Even in audio libraries, they're free. And 2, sometimes you have to separate the work from the author. If you absolutely refuse to ever read anything that does not align with what you believe, I mean, you have that right, but then you're only ever going to find 1, maybe 3 if you're lucky, authors that are gonna be on board with everything you feel and believe in. Oh yeah, and the last point is that since so many people don't even know about the Twitter controversy, what happens to the fandom if all of the decent people abandon it? You know, who's left to mold and control the people coming into the fandom? And again, that's just my thoughts. Those are my feelings. Those are my opinions. If you don't agree, you don't have to. But I assume you would not be listening this far in if you didn't somewhat agree with what I was saying here. But yeah, again, rambly. Gotta bulk up that video time. Whoops. I'm just gonna shut up now. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time, Fanily members. Bye! Well, Fanily members, we're almost done, but I want to invite you to hang out with me in some other places. I'm on Twitter and Instagram as my own personal self, and I have a Facebook page too, but I mostly just post photos over there. And sometimes people say, "Hey McGann, I want to mail you something. How do I do that?" Easy. Just click the About tab on my channel page, and my most current P.O. Box info will be right there. I also run another channel, The Fanily. It's really a hodgepodge channel where we might post anything. Oh yeah, and I also sell shirts and stickers and stuff with the Fanily and the Fangirl logos. If that is your cup of tea, I have a link in every description of every video. Finally, if you want to help out the Fangirl channel and make sure I'm putting out video essays for years to come, the best way you can help is by subscribing and watching more of my videos, whether they're new, old, whatever. Maybe even share one or two on social media, help spread the word. People who watch to the end of videos, like you, helps to tell the site, hey, this is a good video, we should recommend it to other people. So if you made it this far, leave me a comment of something like, hey, I made it to the end. Love ya. See you next time, Fanily members. Bye.